Okja is a Netflix original film written and directed by Bong Joon-ho. And the only work of his that I'm familiar with is Snowpiercer, and I actually haven't seen it yet, but I've only heard great things about it. And I don't want to talk too much about the plot of this movie because I want y'all to go into this knowing as little as possible about the plot. But roughly, it's about a girl named Mija that raises this gigantic super pig creature since birth, and they've both become very attached to each other through time. But through unfortunate circumstances, her beloved super pig named Okja gets stripped away from her, and she does everything in her power that she possibly can to try and retrieve Okja back. So right out of the gate, I'm just going to go ahead and say that this film was a truly breathtaking surprise. This movie essentially came out of nowhere, and I found it to be such a fascinatingly creative piece of filmmaking. This film really exceeds its ability to immerse you into its world with camera work, brilliant and clever writing, and its memorable score and characters. This film was shot wonderfully and resulted in a beautiful looking movie that you can tell was created by someone who cares about the art of filmmaking and had a specific vision that was brought to fruition. The writing in this film was exceptional and carefully thought out. There is this one long expositional scene, but it was executed in a very natural and comfortable way. And there's actually quite a bit of comedy written for this movie, and it's hilarious. Even the comedy was very well thought out. It refrains from using any one-note punchline humor and instead goes for clever jokes and dark humor that will genuinely make you laugh. The characters in this movie were extremely interesting, and you truly care about the people you were supposed to care about, and you hate the people that you're supposed to hate. This film actually has a pretty great cast. I mean, you got Tilda Swinton, Jake Gyllenhaal, Paul Dano, and you even got Gus from Breaking Bad. And yes, he does have some gangsta Gus moments that will surely satisfy any Breaking Bad fan. This little girl, whose name I will not butcher, was great and really gave an exceptional performance for a young actress that I've never heard of. The character dynamic between her and her grandfather was portrayed very realistically, and the drama that occurs between them is jarring as it allows you to understand her pain even more. Tilda Swinton in this movie? Oh man. She gives you such a convincing performance and really sells her character as, essentially, the face of corporate America. Paul Dano did a great job acting his part as the leader of an animal rights organization. He portrays a very charming but strict person that takes his morals and his job very seriously. I still think Paul Dano is definitely an underrated actor that deserves more attention and appreciation. But to be quite honest, the biggest acting standout in this movie, in my opinion, is Jake Gyllenhaal. When I heard he was in this movie, I thought he was just gonna have like a small side role cameo type thing. But no, he plays a huge part in this movie and has loads of screen time, and honestly, this was probably my favorite performance by him. I love almost all of his performances, but this one was just so wacky and maniacal. I won't give too much of his character away, but it was so impressively interesting to see Jake play a part that was so out there and exaggerated. I give huge props to Gyllenhaal for being able to bring the character to life in the way that he did. Now, this film does obviously have a central theme about human morality, animal cruelty, and big business. But it's not overly preachy through any expositional format. A lot of its commentary is through visual conveyance and storytelling, which is something I appreciate because it takes a hell of a lot more effort to convey a message through imagery rather than spoon-fed narration or dialogue. And honestly, it really does make you think about the way things currently are and how some big-name corporations view animal life. It shows you how some big businesses view them solely as profit incentive. When they see an animal, they see numbers and profit margins, and which parts of the animals are going to make them more money. It really is a sad reality that this film conveys beautifully, and it really does make you think more critically on this subject. I mean, I'm not vegan, nor do I honestly intend to be anytime in the future, but at least I view animals as something more than just food and profit. Point being, this film makes you think critically on this subject and achieves this without coming off as preachy and demonizing. It's tremendously acted, it's brilliantly written, it's fascinating, it's funny, it's creative, it's endearing, so Okja is the first film of this year that is gonna get an A+. If you're an animal lover, you will find yourself tearing up in this film, cause I teared up a bit, and I'm not even ashamed to say it. Well, thank you so much for clicking on this video and seeing what I had to say about Okja. Have you already seen Okja? If you have, leave comments and let me know what you think about it. And if you really enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't you forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film related content.